Hey, this is Van Velding. I know I usually do this with my friend Josh, but he is indisposed this weekend. So it's just going to be me talking about the news and a couple other things. So I don't know if you guys are keeping up, but in Iceland they just elected the Pirate Party to become a major part of their parliament. It's like a far left group. Well, maybe just regular left, depending on where you're standing. And their deal is that they're kind of grown out of the banking crisis and then out of the Panama Papers, which over here in the U.S. we've sort of completely forgotten about. But over there, it was quite the scandal. And I'm gonna make some books right quick, just doing a little bit of admin, and it caused quite the furor. Their president or prime minister, I kind of forget which is which. They had to step down. Now they're having new elections, and the Pirate Party kind of gained from that because they're tired of just the institutional abuse and corruption and people, using the public good of the government to help themselves, basically. So what they're doing is they've just elected another party entirely to address that issue. And they had the elections last night, and all things considered, I hear they did pretty well. I mean, I don't know anything about Iceland's political system, but it seems like you've got a really big push for change from just regular folks lately, and it looks like Iceland is welcoming that change and definitely going to need more wood for this. That is what she said. So, good for them. I mean, it's the kind of rapid populist movement that it's been sweeping the West. I mean, for better or worse. These are people who believe that the status quo just does not work for them anymore. And, here in the U.S., the election's 9 days away. That change is coming, and I don't support Donald Trump, but, man, it's exactly what he represents, for better or for worse. Let's see. Also interesting is that in Europe, VW is laying off 10,000 out of, I think, 600,000 workers, which isn't proportionally a lot, but if you're one of those 10,000, it's quite bad. The deal is that after they had that emissions, they call it a scandal, but really I think scandal makes it sound not as bad when it's a terrible thing. They lied to consumers, they lied to governments. These are all people who are trying to be conscientious, who are trying to do the right thing for the environment, who make purchasing decisions based on the fact that they want to do the right thing. And these people lied and denied them the ability to make that decision, to make that well-informed decision. But anyway, that's not crowing this by any means. I mean, 10,000 people are losing their jobs. The trick is, whenever companies mess up and lie and cheat, whenever you punish them for that, they usually take it out on their employees, right? The people with the least amount of power often have to pay for that. Anyway, so in that vein, they're shifting away from fossil fuel vehicles to solar-powered vehicles, which I didn't know this actually have... Oops, that's the wrong door. Which are easier to construct, to have fewer moving parts. So that means that they just require fewer people to build them. So now there's going to be layoffs. And I mean, it's one of the earlier, bigger shifts of, I needed books, not bookshelves. Darn it, Chris. Because I have this, I don't know if you noticed, I'm at 30 levels, so I'm going to go ahead and cash that in. You can wait until you're higher level, like 31, 32, but the deal what's going to happen there is that, oh geez, I finished that wall. That is amazing. Oh geez, I have this whole wall. That is disheartening. This ain't gonna be the last place to have that shift. And I did look for it. So that's happening. That's the change. Pretty soon, there are going to be a lot of people in the car industry who are just out of work because you're building more efficient cars. And guys, even if even if it weren't for pressure from environmental groups to build those cars instead of standard cars, this shift would happen simply because, you know, it takes fewer people to make those cars. They're going to be cheaper for producers, and the producers are going to shift to it for that reason. Anyway, just hold on to your butts, I guess. So, Bane of Arthropods, Sharpness 2, Blast Protection 3. I think I'm angling for Mending is what I'm angling for here. So, Fire Protection 4, jeez. Alright. You think it's going to give you spiders and mending, Chris? If you go back up there and enchant a book? Alright. Anything else desperately needs enchanting? Get initial enchanting. Got such a badass sword. Boots? Wow, those are pretty good boots. Yeah, no, yeah, this is all my rubbish triple enchanted diamond stuff. Alright, we're just gonna enchant the book and deal with Bane of Arthropods. Jesus. Okay, we're not going to enchant anything until I can get another level to clear my palette out. And just have a second go at it. There you go, enjoy those books. So, right, the thing that I wanted to work on today is the Infernalist house off to the east here. So, I'm going to take a quick nap, hop over there, and then do that stuff. Let me top up my food first, and then I'll exit by the roof. So anyway, what else do we have? Yeah, I did want to talk a little bit about demand, because, you know, with the election season being what it is. Hello, cows. You know, there's a lot of talk about you know, undocumented workers and, you know, other folks that are going on there, and just gotta get doors on this thing. Steps and doors. I should probably get some stone stairs for this. Let's see, what parts of this do I still need to work on? Was that done? Definitely need doors. Did I finish the ceiling? Yeah, no, lava's got to come down there. Alright, I gotta put rocks up here. Alright, sorry about that. Anyway. But the issue is that people always claim that there's certain sorts of activities which we really don't like. There are people who... Let me begin the story at the beginning. So I was in my favorite store the other day, and gosh darn it, need more granite. It's okay. I'll get stone bricks while I'm over there. So, they have these little rental rooms there, and from one of the rental rooms, I heard this lady, very loud lady, and she's talking about how they were taking our hotel jobs. Now, I don't know the strategic and cultural value of hotel jobs in America, but they were taking them, and from her tone, that's pretty crucial. And it's absurd. But this lady was dead serious. I mean... Now, I personally think that anyone that I can hear from an adjoining room, I have a right to participate in that conversation. But I also hate talking to people, especially stupid people, and so nothing happened. But, so I mean, the deal is that folks who travel to the U.S. illegally are kind of like people who work in the sex industry. They're kind of like drug dealers. You know, we don't like them doing it for larger principled reasons. You know, if everyone did it, then something, it's... Alright, that model doesn't actually work for everyone. It doesn't work for all three of those examples, but clearly there are ideological reasons why we don't like people engaging in those sorts of work. But the deal is that the efforts to stop those professions are always completely irrationally based on the top-down punishment of people who provide those services instead of the people who demand them. And that's exactly who the people that we should be focusing on, the people who demand cheap labor, the people who, yeah, that looks okay. I'm not proud of that, but I can live with it. It's okay. Yeah, I don't need that. Right. So we focus on the people who supply those services instead of the folks who demand them. And let me tell you, you can lock up every drug dealer today, and every sex worker, and everyone who comes into the country to work, illegally. And more are going to be doing it tomorrow because there's still a demand there. You can't just expect people to not do the things that will get them the money they need to survive. It's completely irrational. It flies in the face of common sense, and at the risk of sounding like a libertarian, the free market. I mean, we're a capitalist society, and we have to acknowledge the realities of that. And if there's demand for something, people will supply it. No exceptions. So how is it that you would expect to come down so hard on people who supply these services, and then give slaps on the wrist to people who demand them? And it's really because the people who demand them have money, and the people who supply them need money. So there's an inherent power. There's an inherent power difference between those two groups of people. And one of those people is much easier to prosecute, to punish for their participation in the system. But the people with the power are the ones that cause it to exist. You go after the suppliers. If you go after the demand, you're going to see supply dry up. It's just that simple, and we have been doing it wrong for decades. Anyway, I'm just rambling now. So, let me kill this blocky guy. Such a jerk. Anyway, on lighter news, the new Magic set's coming. Kaladesh came out, right? Magic, the Kaladesh set came out, and I think we all like Kaladesh. But also coming out, they're doing spoilers, going to be November 11th it comes out, is Commander 2016, which I am super happy about. Kianos and Tiro of Meletis are happening. I was the first person to look at Guardians of Meletis and say, it's very cool that you guys gave, representation of homosexuals in kind of a coded, not very obvious form on an unimpressive card. Thanks. Appreciate it. And it was really nice of them to do. I feel like a jerk complaining about it because, again, representation's important, and you want to encourage someone every time they do it. And I think I was encouraging of Wizards whenever Guardians of Meletis came out. And I think that has paid dividends. Perhaps not me personally, but the community in general, because one of the actual cover of the box generals for the new set is is a card which represents both Kianos and Tiro, the Guardians of Meletis. It's got great art, it's got great flavor text, it has kind of a group huggy thing, which is one of the many archetypes that I like in Magic. So I am super hyped for that, and I plan on pre-ordering a playmat for that just as soon Well, probably today. That's probably going to happen today. I'm going to order up a playmat and probably the deck itself if I can find a good retailer. I'd like to bundle it all. I think that's reasonable. So what else? It looks like a fun set in general though. One of the issues that 4-color commanders, the head designer of Magic, Mark Rosewater, said multiple times, it is just so hard to design 4-color cards because there are so many elements of which have to exist, and then one element is very harshly excluded. So one of the ways they cheated that is they had 2-color commanders which can work with each other and be co-generals if they both have the same partner ability. So there's a really clever way around a problem they had, and it's one of the reasons I like reading about the development side of Magic, because those guys, yeah, they're paid just to think of ideas and to be creative, and it's always interesting to understand what obstacles there are to making something I like, and then to see how intelligent, creative people overcome those obstacles. Anyway, I like knowing how things are made. That's just me. I think there's a big Halloween sale on Steam right now. I'm going to be putting this up today. This is going up today. Vampire Bloodlines, I think, is 75% off. So if you like playing games from the late 90s, early 2000s that are about Vampire the Masquerade, today is it's a lucky day. Because, I mean, you probably like Halloween. That's happening soon. What is everyone doing for Halloween this year? I've seen people do it last night. I know people who are doing it today. And then, of course, Monday is actual Halloween, so I don't know, is Halloween like a big you gotta do it on the weekend thing? I never got that impression from Halloween. Like, I get that you want to have holidays happen on weekends, but I mean, seriously, Halloween is like you just put in the time ahead, and then you actually do the trick-or-treating. You do the costuming, and then you go up and you dress up. I mean, I'm assuming people are trick-or-treating. I would expect Halloween parties to be on weekends because people are going to get messed up. People are going to go out and drink and stuff. So, let's see. Oh, Steve Dillon died this week, which I really know him best and know him basically only for his work on Garth Ennis's run on Punisher, which was good work. I mean, he did the entire Nuff Said episode, which was issue number 7. It was back in 2002. The Nuff Said thing that Marvel did was there was no dialogue, so everything was told through the art. It's pretty artist heavy. I mean, you still had a writer writing and scripting and everything, but is that right? Yeah, I got that right. I'm gonna need more buckets, and I'm gonna go to bed soon. How does this look from the inside? Is it providing adequate light? It's not. Yeah, it'll be really even light, which isn't bad, but I think it'll be fine. Anyway, I'm gonna go enchant a book. Throw some stuff in this chest. Some of this garbage. I'm going to catch some quick Z's and continue, I guess, just muling out lava. I may actually just do one more load. I don't want to bore you guys. Right, so what else? I really thought I had that. Okay. 1 second. Let me get away from this and eat a little bit. Never put off just killing a guy who's in a safety zone. You notice I've got the fences out here, then the physical wall with the stone door. So I have multiple layers of defense here. If you conveniently forget that my armory doesn't have a door because I have nowhere to put a button. But that's that's a design obstacle, and that is on the list to be taken care of. I got a lot of projects to take care of, is what I'm saying, like all the time. For example, I don't know if you guys are aware of this. I've been doing this BattleTech project 3087. It was basically just making my own technical readout for BattleTech. And you know, it's a lot of work. And I put it up last week. I finished the last entry last week, and I tried to see if other BattleTech folks might be interested. And sadly, not a lot of people were. So I'm gonna have to put that on the shelf for the time being. But you know, it's all in service of getting me to work on other projects. I have a Magic Fate, the Fate role-playing system. I adapted that to work with Magic the Gathering, and I was pretty happy with the results. We ran a system, and I think it integrated pretty well. If anything, I leaned light on a lot of the systemic elements. But I punched up the primer. I put it online for other folks to see and maybe use and react to. So and then I put that project to bed as well, simply because it's a very intensive project without a lot of reward to it. So it's another project I can mark off this weekend. It's been a really good weekend for me getting stuff done. And that's also I can focus on some of the projects I've kind of been schlepping on. Like this is one of those projects where I just sort of sit down and talk about, you know, projects and news and Minecraft. It's stuff that interests me personally that I kind of want to talk about. You know, I sit in silence and I play Minecraft for hours at a time, and you know, I love it, but it feels a little disengaged, a little empty at times. So let's see what else. The board game Dead Parents Dungeon, I've been slacking on that, and I'm a little bit behind on editing 17 to 1, the Star Trek podcast I do. And I've also been I've just been not doing this Skyrim streaming where I just hang out with my friend Derek and play Skyrim, and I just kind of talk about stuff, because I have played it like once before. I played the Central campaign and I killed the dragon, and I think I then killed everyone in Skyrim for I think good reasons, because it was the only way to quit the game, and now I'm playing it again, so make of that what you will. Anyway, but I haven't been doing that lately. I think that's been entertaining. I think I've gotten some people following me on the old Twitch stream. I think they're probably just following back. But, you know, I like to dream a little bit. I like to have my fancies. But what I have been doing is the Beige and the Bold. Derek and I also do the Beige and the Bold, where we kind of do a watch along of an episode of Star Trek: The Next Generation. And, you know, we talk about it. He's never seen it before. I've seen it a million times. And that's doing good. I think we just got through doing the Naked now today. I did a little listen. I did an edit today. It sounds pretty good, and that'll be going up, gosh, probably in 3 weeks. In Monday we're gonna have Encounter at Farpoint Part 1 for the Beige and the Bold, and I think this last week for 17 to 1 we had the Lights of Zatar, which is the one where Scotty falls in love with the junior crewman lady, and there's also like a space thing full of ghosts that's trying to inhabit her. It's not what you call a keeper in terms of episodes, but it is it's a ridiculous episode, and it's a lot of fun to just to process, because there's so many fascinating ideas at play in it that you know, it's worth talking about. And that is one of the nicest things you can say about an episode of Star Trek. You know, it's worth talking about, it's worth thinking about. Not one of those episodes with what you might call heaps of redeeming social value, but it's good. It's good. So, all right, done a little bit of this admin, so I'm gonna go ahead and fill in these. Shoot. No. So are you empty? No? So why are you flowing inward then? I should be much better with lava dynamics at this point in the game, right? At this point in the literal game. A much better handle this stuff. Oh, and so, new plan. I'm just going to slap this stuff down, and I will figure out the deets later, because I was kicking my ass. Alright. Ah! No, put it back down. You do not want to do that. Yeah. Alright, that's the last of my lava. I think that's the last of the stuff I need to talk about today. I guess I'll leave this here. So, and I will... None of it's flowing from down here. So does it really matter? He said as he knew deep inside of his heart. Yes, it does. Yes, it does matter. Okay. Alright, well, I'm going to go ahead and leave off here. I hope you guys have a great day. And I will see y'all later.